What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for February 6, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Thursday edition of the podcast. We are just 3 days away from Super Bowl Sunday. Today's kind of the last calm day before everything gets crazy tomorrow. Everybody starts going into the Super Bowl tomorrow. We finally have some practices. We'll have some football to talk about. But man, this has been a long 2 weeks. But before we get into today's episode, some quick housekeeping notes. Still not too late to buy the Girl Scout cookies from Ella. Everything you need is in the description. If you're still looking for a Super Bowl block pool, or if you're like me and a lot of the people I know, you need to get in your 100th block pool, there's a link in the description for the fundraiser for the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. Already thinking ahead to next year's induction class. We start meeting this week to start going over the ballot for next year. But Super Bowl's first. Get in there, buy some squares, $50. Benefits proceed the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. It's a pretty decent pot too. And like I said, I mean, you're going to get into 100 more anyway, so why not get into one more? Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, at PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Continue to spread the word. That's outsmart the algorithm. I've started to post the questions of the day on YouTube for YouTube Shorts. Just trying anything to outsmart everything. Working on some things behind the scenes as well to try to get this thing out there. But the best way right now is still word of mouth. And then check out our friends at the On Pattison newsletter. Great Eagles coverage this week. Gearing up for Philly season. They do a great job with Phillies. So go subscribe to them. Get it delivered right to your inbox. We're also featured in there a couple times a week as well. All right. So before we even get into the game, Sixers made a weird, I guess is a good way to put it, trade where they traded KJ Martin and 2 second-round picks to the Pistons. And what did they get in return? Nothing. Detroit agreed, I guess, to take on the entire contract and salary of KJ Martin. And earlier in the season, if you remember, we talked about this. This was when they re-signed KJ Martin. He was supposed to be there to be that chip to make a trade. He was overpriced or overpaid, and ultimately was supposed to be a piece that helped put the Sixers over the edge with everybody playing well. Obviously, that all went to shit when Joe couldn't stay healthy, Paul George couldn't stay healthy, Maxey was hurt at the beginning of the year. So essentially, this was a salary dump, and it doesn't make them better this year. I guess I didn't really look too far into the numbers because the NBA salary cap is just weird the way it's constructed. But this should set them up for some be able to sign some free agents next year. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know if this was definitely a we're going for it type move or we're waving the white flag and hoping to get lucky in the lottery type move. Who knows? But as far as the game, they lost 108-101 to the Miami Heat. Tyrese Maxey had 31. Paul George was just terrible. And if they are looking to possibly trade him, maybe it's better to keep him on the bench and not play him because he was just not good. He will not be going to the Golden State Warriors as they made the move for Jimmy Butler before the game. And that was one of the teams that were looking to possibly trade for him. Atlanta, what do you got? We need some picks. So I don't know if those second round picks. I feel like they have a ton of second round picks. Just no first round picks. Who knows what's going to happen? But I'm glad I held off on jumping on. An interesting story though I did see was that Tyrese Maxey knows Quentin Grimes from high school, and they're excited to play together. So I guess Grimes is going to get sort of an audition here the rest of the season to see how he can play with everybody else. Does it matter? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But they're off today. They play the Pistons tomorrow. Well, maybe we'll see a Joe sighting again. Maybe he'll mess around and get another triple-double. Flyers are back home after being a little short West Coast trip. They take on the Capitals tonight at the Wells Fargo Center. Tough matchup, but I mean, we'll see what happens. This is a young team. Hopefully they can carry the momentum they had out in Utah over tonight against the Capitals, but that is tonight at the Wells Fargo Center. Be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. Lots of good things going on with their sports fan network. Basically giving people the opportunity and the chance to get in and get their voice heard and have a little bit of fun. So go check them out anywhere you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. All the information you need to as far as joining their network is available there as well. And then go to Philly Goat. When I say they got you covered head to toe, they got you covered head to toe. Whether you need shoes, hats, shirts, pants, coffee, coolers, they got you. I cannot do it justice. Go to their website, continue to scroll through, look and see what they got. You won't be disappointed. Gear up for the Super Bowl here. Pitchers and catchers in less than a week. If you want to get some Phillies gear, they have all kinds of great Philly stuff. But be sure to use that promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off of your order. All right, some Eagles news. I guess It's been a weird week. Usually we'd have more actual content regarding the Eagles today, but because the practices aren't as, I guess, available and everything, and you don't have your full complement of reporters down there. But the good news was everybody practiced in some capacity. There were some people that were limited. However, the fact that every single player on the roster practiced is a good sign moving forward. It looks as though they're going to be about as healthy as you can be heading into the Super Bowl, which is great. BG still seems like he's on track to play. That's why I wore the BG jersey today. Still unsure about what his future is, but just hearing him talk this week, I kind of get the sense the fact that he's going to be able to play in this game, the fact he already made the announcement, I think he's going to end up leaning toward retirement. I think if the Eagles do win on Sunday, that will help make that decision even better. He'd be one of a few folks to win 2 championships in Philadelphia. We talked about that before. Chuck Bednarik won 2, spanning 2 generations. And then you have a lot of those same guys from the 48 and 49 team. But in the Super Bowl era like him, Lane, I believe, was Jordan on? I don't know. I think Jordan was on the team, didn't play. Jake Elliott. So you have a handful of guys that have been there, if they win, that would have spanned both Super Bowl runs. So a pretty cool moment for him. But Pearsley, he's trending to play. And I think I mentioned this before, that emotional boost from him playing is going to be huge for that defense. And that's why I'm wearing the BG jersey today. Doing some thinking about the comparison of the teams from 2022 to 2024, and just in doing some of the research that I typically do, to me, on first the eye test, this 2024 team is far better than that 2022 team. They're better at making adjustments in game. Saquon is a huge upgrade over Miles Sanders, and I guess it was Gainwell was the backup that year. The defense, I think, is better. Yes, that defense was better with getting sacks and possibly even turnovers, but the way this defense has been playing the last 6 to 8 weeks has been lights out. And I know this might be an unpopular opinion. I think that defense in 2022 was a tad bit overrated, much similar to the 2017 defense, because they played with big leads a lot, and that kind of made them one-dimensional. Where this year's defense, I think, is better is the Eagles didn't really blow teams out this year until the fourth quarter. So they were playing in close games, and a lot of times the defense is really what opened that up for those scores to kind of go. Obviously, Saquon's run, but then the defense, like they did against Washington, just kind of putting the clamps on and shutting them down. So first thought, like I said, is this team's better. But if you're a loyal listener, you know I go to What If Sports a lot and do the fantasy sims and historical matchups and everything. And I usually try to do 10 matchups. And I did one this morning. The 2022 team won all 10 games. They didn't blow them out. They were all close games, but they won all 10 games. So that leads to today's question of the day. Which team is better, the 2022 team or this 2024 team? 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line. To me, this team, I think they're more galvanized. We talked about the calluses on Tuesday through all the adversity they've gone through. I think coaching-wise, they're better at making adjustments than what we've seen all year, which are in that 2022 year. That's been one of the differences for this team. They've been able to make the adjustments and get better. Like I said, I think the defense is far superior to that defense. And of course, Saquon. Maybe the passing game was better, but I think some of that may have been out of necessity. So let me know your thoughts on that. 2022 or 2024, which Eagles Super Bowl team was better? I'm going 2024, but let me know your thoughts. And that does lead us to a recap of yesterday's question of the day. I did ask, 2 minutes left in the game, 4-point game, you're down 4, or you're either down 4 or you're up 4. Who would you rather on the field to win the game, the offense or the defense? Surprised at how split this was. 58% said the offense, and most of the people that said the offense were in the camp of, I'd rather it be in our control and take it out of like Patrick Mahomes and the refs. And shout out to Kyle from Coatesville for checking in on the Back to the Future voice and text line. Basically said what I think we all feel. We have confidence on both sides, but you'd rather have it in your hands and be in control of it. And I couldn't agree more because, yes, there's always the chance that Jalen Carter's going to break through and get a big sack, but then you're going to get a roughing the passer or some kind of phantom call. At least if you're on offense, it's in control. I tend to side with that, but I don't think you can go wrong with either one. But thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. Be sure to let me know which team is better, the 2022 or the 2024 Super Bowl team. The other random thing that kept being talked about yesterday was Taylor Swift and whether or not she was an Eagles fan. She's from Berks County, so her dad apparently is a huge Eagles fan. This is the perfect example of why we need to get to the game. Like, who cares? Who cares? It's Taylor Swift. Like, I don't know. I guess if I married somebody who was a huge Cowboys fan, then you could have the discussion like, oh, or married somebody who played for the Cowboys, which, whatever. You get what I'm saying. That might be a better comparison, but it's Taylor Swift. Like, at the end of the day, do you think she really cares who wins this game? She's got billions of dollars anyway. But whatever. Kudos to her dad, though, for staying true and saying, I'm rooting for the Eagles. And then just lots of still comments and things coming in about superstitions. We have decided officially to not go to a Super Bowl party. We're going to stay at home, which is probably for the best. Like I said, I left it up to my wife, but I did say I am going to be unfiltered and not hesitate to tell somebody to shut up if I need to. I don't know if she wanted to stay home or she was concerned I was going to cause a scene, but either way, we're staying at home, and that probably is the best way. I think I've decided on the outfit. I'm either going to go with the BG jersey, which did win during the free fall last year. It was the only game they won during that stretch on Christmas Day was when I wore this. So there is some luck there. I typically don't wear jerseys at home, though. So I might just put on my Eagles hoodie that has the map of Philadelphia in it, which has been lucky. But I have the option now at home to switch it up if I need to. So that is good, too. And I got a couple, which was weird yesterday, about my hair and my beard. And yes, it's getting a little straggly, getting a little bit long, but it's the playoffs. And I haven't gotten a haircut since I think I got a haircut right before the loss to Washington or right after. So I haven't gotten a haircut or trimmed my beard in a while. So I'm waiting until next week. So thank you for reaching out and being concerned. I'm not losing my job. I can afford a haircut. It's playoffs, baby. Can't get it. Can't risk it. And yes, that is a huge superstition. But that's the Eagles coverage we have for today. Hopefully we'll have more game stuff as we go. I've started to work on the 3 keys, mapping out how the Eagles can win this game. I still eerily very, very confident in this game. Way more almost like a confidence I had in 2017. I feel as though for some reason going into 2017, I was very confident for whatever reason. Not as confident in 2022, which, like I said, I thought they could win, but I was like, I don't know. Like I said, eerily, confident about this game, but I'll break down the 3 keys on Sunday. Victory Brewing, KeyBank, any car dealerships out there. It's still not too late to get in and sponsor the 3 keys to an Eagles victory, though. Sticking with the Super Bowl theme, though, today we're going to go back to 2005. And on this day in 2005, it was the day growing up that I never thought would happen. And 2 weeks after hell froze over, and after 3 years of losing heartbreakingly, I don't even know if that's a word, heartbreakingly, but losing heartbreakingly in the NFC Championship game, our Philadelphia Eagles were playing in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl XXXIX took place on this day back in 2005. Eagles came in as 7-point underdogs. I remember I bet everything. I didn't have much money back then, but I bet everything I had for the Eagles to cover the spread, which helped make up for the way the game played out. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it done, losing 24-21. Game was tied after 3 quarters at 14, and then the 4th quarter, just Donovan kind of fell apart. The defense couldn't stop Deion Branch. There was some questionable time management from Andy Reid, which always plagued him throughout his time here in Philly. But they did get it to 3 with 1:48 left, but just couldn't get over the hump. Donovan, to his credit, and you know how I feel about Donovan, did have 357 yards and 3 touchdowns. However, 3 costly interceptions. I believe 2 of them, and I should have probably researched this better, but I believe 2 of them were in the red zone. He was sacked 4 times, and I just had a bad feeling after the first sack of the game when he got up and his chin strap was unbuckled and he went up to the line and ran a play without his chin strap buckled. If that happened in today's game, I'm sure we would have seen A.J. Philly or Coy Detmer in that game. But T.O. was the man. 9 catches for 122 yards after breaking his ankle and really somehow miraculously played in this game. Brian Westbrook, L.J. Smith, and Greg Lewis all had touchdowns for the Eagles. There were some rumors, and a lot of the players feel on defense that they were stealing the signs. I did read an article with Steve Spagnuolo, who said Jimmy Johnson was aware of it and was like, we need to have a dummy signal caller. And Spagnuolo was like, nah, we're fine. And now he's like, after seeing the way that second half played out, he really does believe that the Patriots had the sign. Whether or not it happened, I don't know. It's all water under the bridge now. But the bottom line is they couldn't stop Deion Branch either way, whether or not they knew if they were blitzing or not. It would be 13 years before we make our next trip to the Super Bowl, that glorious day back in 2018. But on this day in 2005, Eagles lose Super Bowl XXXIX to the Patriots, 24-21, ending that magical season and pretty much signaling the end of the Donovan T.O. era, because it was all downhill from there. And then finally today, our Black History Legacy makers with Philly ties. Today we're going to go to baseball and talk about Garry Maddox. Yes, the Secretary of Defense. You know the quote, 2/3 of the Earth's surface is covered by water, the rest by Garry Maddox. He played center field for the Phillies from 1975 to 1986. 8-time Gold Glove winner, World Series champion in 1980. He's in the Phillies Wall of Fame. But his impact stretched far beyond anything he did in center field for the Phillies. In 1986, the final year of his career, he won the Roberto Clemente Award. That award goes to the player who best exemplifies the game of baseball, sportsmanship, community involvement, and the individual's contribution to the team. one of the highest honors. It's essentially the Walter Payton Man of the Year award for Major League Baseball. So great to see him win that. But then after his retirement, he had just as successful of a career as a businessman, opening up many different businesses. And I think he was involved in one of the original casino deals here in Philly. And he never stopped giving back to the community. I started the Compete 360, which is a couple of these programs are near and dear to my heart as an educator. Academic enrichment program to foster design thinking, essentially connecting students with the real world around them, which is something as an educator I firmly believe in. Give these kids real world experiences. Yes, if you're going to be a neuro brain surgeon or a rocket scientist, yes, you need a lot of that higher level math, but a lot of times these kids need real world skills and things that they can transfer from their learning and go right out into the career, into their careers. And Compete 360 is a program that does that. He also started the Youth Golf and Academics program, which is another academic enrichment program to support K-5 students in high-risk neighborhoods with after-school programs, safe spaces to go. Also worked with the schools and the parents to provide them with things they need, whether it be book bags, school uniforms, all kinds of things like that. Has helped numerous students across the Philadelphia area really have a chance to succeed and give them alternatives to just being in some of those the rougher neighborhoods. He started the Garry Maddox Drew Katz Bowling Classic, which raises money for nonprofits in the area. And of course, he is a master barbecue chef. I remember this very well. I went down one time near the end of the days at the vet. The Garry Maddox Barbecue Challenge, where everybody, it's basically what it sounds like. Give me your best barbecue, and then you can win a prize. But all of that was to raise money for the Compete 360. So Garry Maddox was a hell of a player on the field, but a hell of a human being off the field. Thank you, Garry, for all you've done for specifically to me, for the students in this area and giving them a chance to be successful. To me, a lot of times we get bad reps as Philly fans and as a city and as a region. But to me, something like this, what Garry Maddox has done post his playing career, is the epitome of what it means to be from Philadelphia. So Garry Maddox, thank you. We celebrate you today as our Black History Month legacy maker with Philadelphia ties. And not a bad player to boot either. On this day in 2005, Eagles lose Super Bowl XXXIX to the New England Patriots 24-21 in a pretty close game until about midway through the fourth quarter. You can put the blame on Donovan if you want. It's one of those games I fully put on him. Did not play his best game. Rumors that he was hungover, puking in the sideline and on the huddle. I don't know. It's all, like I said, it's all water under the bridge. We got our Super Bowl ring. Let's get another one Sunday. Let me know, though, speaking of Sunday, which team is better, the 2024 team or the 2022 team that both played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? We're almost there, guys. We are almost there. It is almost Super Bowl Sunday. Today is probably going to be the longest day because at least tomorrow is Friday. It's a feel-good Friday. We can kind of coast through. Today is going to be the day. If we can just get through today, we're going to be all right. Be sure to check out any of our partners or sponsors. Use that promo code Jim Montgomery at Philly Goat. Check out On Pattison. Check out the boys over at the Clashing Conferences Network. All of that. Let me know your thoughts on the Sixers if you have any. Probably don't, because why would you? This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for February 6, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Only 3 more days. Go have yourselves a Thursday. Be safe out there if you're driving and it's slick out. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.